What is going on, Dragon Ball fans? Welcome back to another Dragon Ball fan manga review, where today we're going to be reviewing the fan manga entitled Dragon Ball EX or Dragon Ball X, which is a fan-made manga set to take place after the events of Dragon Ball GT. And for many years now, I've been reviewing and looking over fan-made Dragon Ball mangas and concepts, so today we're going to be diving into a brand new chapter here today. Now, the events of Dragon Ball X take place right after the events of Goku versus Omega Shenron, and having to recap the events of the overusage of the Dragon Balls, and we start off with a very interesting event in which involves both the Guardian of the Earth Dende and Mr. Popo, in which Mr. Popo asks Dende if something is wrong, and Dende mentions something that I find to be very fascinating. He says, "No, Mr. Popo, I was only thinking about the appearance of the evil dragons, and I remembered something that the elders have told me back in my tribe on planet Namek many years ago, that there was a time when Namek was a victim of a frequent and unexpected space pirate attack," and in which he also mentions that even when the Namekians would overuse the Dragon Balls back on their planet, nothing was ever mentioned of their planet being destroyed, in which then Mr. Popo asks, "What do you mean by that?" And Dende replies by saying, "I still don't know, Mr. Popo, I just hope Goku is fine." And then we pan over back to Goku's house, where everyone is celebrating the victory over the Shadow Dragons, all except one person, and that's Vegeta. Now, what I find to be very amazing in this particular chapter is how Vegeta is constantly thinking about Goku, and he even mentions how Goku had fused with the dragon, and he's wondering if Goku had gotten stronger because of this, but of course he'll never know because Goku is not coming back. And then we see Vegeta ask Trunks if Trunks is willing to train with Vegeta, which is a first for Vegeta until Bulma intervenes and says, "I'm sorry to get involved, but Trunks will have to take care of some rebuilding of the Capsule Corporation," in which Vegeta gets a little irritated because since Goku is gone, he has nobody to train with, so he asked his own son, and Bulma said no. And then we see Vegeta ask Gohan, and he says to him, "Wouldn't you like to come train with me for a while? What do you say?" And that's when Gohan says, "I'd love to go with you, Vegeta, but even so, I don't think it's necessary. I have a lot of work to take care of." And that's when Vegeta says, "Moron," and he moves on because Gohan is unable to do anything because Gohan says, "It happens that I am in charge of my company and I have to be aware of everything, and I'm really sorry, Vegeta, but let it be another time." And that's when Vegeta kind of ignores Gohan and he steps up to Goten and he asks Goten, "You're the only one who's not doing anything instead of losing all the time. What do you say you come train with me?" And that's when Goten replies by saying, "Well, there's no problem by that, Mr. Vegeta, but my mom wouldn't let me." And that's when we see Chi-Chi walk over and says, "Goten, don't worry about me. You've neglected your training for a long time, so go with Vegeta." And that's when Goten is like, "Mom, no, wait." And Vegeta begins to get really excited and he says, "It's all said and done. I'll be waiting for you tomorrow at the Capsule Corporation, Goten." And that's when Goten begins to get really nervous because obviously Goten and Vegeta are not anywhere near each other in terms of power level. And the next day, Goten goes to the Capsule Corporation, which again is the post-Shadow Dragon battle in which everything is in ruins. And then we see Goten standing there and he says, "Mr. Vegeta must be nuts. Why does he keep wanting to train with me? If it's ridiculous, because I am nowhere near his new transformation," talking about Super Saiyan 4. And we see Vegeta walk on by and he says, "Wow, you're late. I really thought you wouldn't come." And Goten says, "Well, how are we going to train around here? Everything's destroyed." And Vegeta follows up by telling Goten that they're going to be leaving the planet for about a year. And Goten begins to freak out, saying, "A year?" With Vegeta taking Goten under his wing and saying, "Yes, a year. It doesn't sound cool to you, but we're still going to go either way." And that's when they're beginning to go towards the Capsule Corp spaceship. And Goten says, "Are we traveling with that, Mr. Vegeta?" And Vegeta says, "Yes." "All right, Goten, say goodbye to this planet for a very long time." And they begin to head out into orbit, and we see how Goten says, "Mr. Vegeta, where are we going to eat?" With Vegeta replying by saying, "Don't worry, we have capsule food," and Goten saying, "No, not capsule food." So it's pretty cool to see how Vegeta is looking to train with someone, and he finally takes Goten under his wing. And for the most part, it's only fitting because everyone else is busy. Trunks and Gohan have responsibilities, so Goten is the only person available, and Vegeta only wants to train with Goten because he doesn't want Goku to surpass him in power, even though he doesn't know as of right now as to how strong Goku has gotten. Vegeta isn't hesitant on finding a training partner. And then we pan over back to Kami's lookout, where we see Mr. Popo ask Dende if he had found something out, and Dende replying, "Yes, but it is an old myth of my people." And Mr. Popo says, "A myth? What is it about?" And Dende says, "The story tells of the origin of the Dragon Balls," and he spoke about how a divine being came to a man named Eskarou, and he spoke to him about how his heart was pure and with no evil. A great power was delivered to him, which would be inherited generation by generation. And once he had said that, the divine being just suddenly disappeared, till one day Eskarou had a vision in his dreams that he would help him to create the 7 spheres, which would then end up being the original Dragon Balls, in which we see Popo talk to Dende about it's only a myth, and Dende replying by saying, "I know, Mr. Popo, besides, I don't think it has anything to do with the evil dragons. However, I still have this bad feeling." So to break it all down, the chapter pretty much summarizes Dende having this bad feeling about the Dragon Balls and having to relate on the Earth's Dragon Balls and the Shadow Dragons, and we see how Vegeta goes off to train with Goten in order to get stronger stronger in order to even potentially allow Goten to become stronger too, but Goten also feels that he's no match for Vegeta, especially with this new form that Vegeta has, that being Super Saiyan 4. So now we pan it over to Dragon Ball X Chapter 2, in which right from the beginning we see how Goku is meeting up with this creature named Fergo, and Fergo pretty much tells Goku that since now he is a god, he gets his own planet. So now Goku says, wow, this will be my planet, it seems like a great place to train, and Fergo says, that's it, as I told you before, every god has its own planet, and this is yours. And Goku wants to thank this person to returning Goku to his normal height before, and we see how Fergo begins to talk about, well, I can't really introduce a dwarf to another dwarf because that's an insult to the gods, and that's when Goku says, wait, those gods, so who are those gods you're talking about? And then that's when Fergo says, yes, they are currently at a meeting at the Divine Planet, with Fergo saying all other 11 gods are waiting for you now, and that's when they begin to head out to the Divine Planet, and it's pretty cool looking because there's this giant planet surrounding these other little planets. There is the Dragon Planet and many others, but it also says that while Goku was on the Divine World, 12 months have passed since Vegeta and Goten went to train on another planet, and then we pan over to Goten and Vegeta, and they're battling as Super Saiyan 3s. So something must have occurred to where it allowed Goten to reach the powers of a Super Saiyan 3, and I have to emphasize and say that it's pretty cool that now we finally have focus on another secondary character, that being Goten, and having him achieve such a power, and even rivaling that of Vegeta. So they're battling it out, and we get to see how Vegeta says, Goten, get ready, I'm going to use all my powers, now here I go, and that's when he begins to charge up for the Gallic Gun attack, and we see how Goten charges up for the Kamehameha, and there is a massive beam struggle occurring between Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and Super Saiyan 3 Goten as the Gallic Gun and Kamehameha collide against one another, and we see how Goten kind of bested Vegeta on that one, and we see how he walks on over, and Vegeta says to himself, damn it, I still can't control this transformation, hinting at Super Saiyan 3, and that's when Goten says, yes, I think so, but we still can't stay here any longer. If you want to be honest, I never thought I could reach a level this far up if it were not for you. And that's when we see Vegeta talk about, Goten, I believe it's been a year since we have left Earth, and that's when Goten says, Vegeta, are we done? And Vegeta says, yes, we need to recover some energy, we'll continue tomorrow with more training, and they begin to stay on the planet because it looks like Vegeta says we'll stay a little bit longer, and that's when we see them just pretty much take off, and Goku is on the Divine Planet, he's on the Dragon Planet, and he's sitting down, he's resting up, and that's when Fergo says, Goku, we're waiting for you, and Goku says, I'm sorry Fergo, I completely forgot about this meeting today, and then something happens to Goku. He grabs his head, and he says, my head, there's something going on with Goku, and that's when Fergo says, hey Goku, what's the matter, are you okay? And there's a struggle happening with Goku, then all of a sudden, we see how his eyes begin to have like this black outline, and something is going on with Goku, and then his first words after his head hurting were, free at last, hello Fergo, it's been far too long, and that's when Fergo begins to shake, and he says, no, it can't be, that voice belongs to, and that's when Goku grabs him and he says, are you afraid? Damned traitor, now you'll see what I'm capable of, now that I'm in this body, and that's when we see Fergo saying, let me go, with Goku then having to throw Fergo incredibly hard through some rocks, and that's when he says, well, let's get started, damn, I can't use my teleportation, and that's when he begins to take his fingers and put it over his skull, and he says, how complicated is this technique of that guy? I can feel it, I can feel a presence. So pretty much to sum this chapter up, something occurs to Goku, something strikes Goku, something enters Goku's body, in which allows that figure, or like that spirit, to take over Goku's body, and Fergo knows who it is, because Fergo says, no, that voice belongs to, and that's before Goku grabbed him and threw him through a pile of rocks, but Goku then was supposed to be on the Divine Planet, but it looks like towards the end of the chapter, Goku is definitely going to be going somewhere using the instant transmission technique, and then all the while, Goten and Vegeta have improved so much, but it's surprising that Vegeta cannot control Super Saiyan 3, as he is more comfortable using Super Saiyan 4, but then again, we also get to see how Goten was relatively surprised, and that he never believed in his wildest dreams that he was ever going to achieve such a transformation as Super Saiyan 3, and I personally love the idea that Vegeta took Goten under his wing for a year, having to train non-stop on this planet, and I do think that at this very point, Goten has to be at least stronger than Gohan in having to consistently train with Vegeta for 12 months and having to achieve such a power, but we also get to see how they want to resume their training because Goten doesn't want to seem like he wants to stop, nor does Vegeta, and that's when Vegeta says we'll continue tomorrow with our training, but regardless of what's going on, we get to see the build-up as something's going on with Goku and he makes his way towards another planet, and as Vegeta and Goten continue to train, one can only assume how strong they're both going to get. But post your comments down below. What are your overall thoughts on Dende's concern? What are your overall thoughts on Vegeta training with Goten? What are your overall thoughts on Goku possibly having to be evil and someone having to control his body now? Post your comments down below, guys. Thank you all for watching once again. I truly hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to go on ahead and slap a like down below to show your love for Dragon Ball. If you guys love Dragon Ball, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for all the latest Dragon Ball news, information, updates, discussions, and of course manga reviews. If you guys have any other manga review of your own, or if someone else is going ahead and post your comments down below and link them so I can go ahead and review those chapters, guys. Tune back into the channel for chapter 3 of Dragon Ball X. I find this to be very cool because finally Goten is actually having some training time with someone who's stronger, with someone who can be a mentor, and Goku is off on the Dragon Planet trying to get to the Divine World, but something is going on with him. So I cannot wait to see chapter 3s and chapter 4. Go on ahead, guys, and tune back into the channel for more, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Take it easy, guys. Peace.